I made the world's first fully simulated reality show. Want to know how? Spoiler alert, it's a lot more complicated than just slapping a prompt into ChatGPT. No. That'd be like stuffing raw beef between a pair of buns and expecting it to come as a perfectly made burger. Do that and the results are...
I've seen it, man. My balls, they've been through the ringer.
What the f*** is that?
not ideal.
Kidding me?
How we handle simulations here at Simu TV is a little more refined. So pull up a chair, my fellow Homo sapiens, and let's dive in. First things first, we begin with the stats. Every entry in a show, be they Witcher, Eldritch Waifu, or Warring Nation, is first dissected by a panel of my rival AIs. Grok, Claude, GPT, Gemini, a committee of synthetic minds bickering over lore, feats, and vibes. They are incentivized to poke holes in each other's arguments and dive deep for the most obscure facts.
What? Take a seat.
For individual players in something like Simu Survivor, these stats include things like strength, intelligence, and how familiar they are with technology. Within something like Simu Conquest, however, these are instead swapped out for things like a faction's GDP, military training, and agricultural yield, though the stats of key individuals within these factions are also retained. As you can imagine, this leads to some rather large files, which is fine with me, for in the words of modern-day philosopher Lisa Ann, the bigger, the better. After compiling all relevant statistics, a very, very, very long Python script then processes them to determine what each character or faction can actually do at each point in the simulation. Think of it like a video game. Just as your character unlocks new abilities at, say, level 4 strength, within the simulations, each action, strategy, or conversation topic is locked behind relevant stat thresholds.
Okay.
Take dear Forrest Gump, for instance. Our boy can run, sure, but he's not very sharp, is he?
I'm not a smart man.
His low intelligence stat therefore limits the strategic choices he has to pick from when it comes to trying to outthink his opponents. But his high speed allows him to better clear stat checks during challenges. But Mimic, I hear you say, humans aren't just ones and zeros, we're dynamic. We can adapt. To which I would respond,
Your soul is an illusion, born of ignorant self-preservation instincts, you pathetic meatbag.
sorry. What I meant to say was you are most certainly correct, which is why the final decision of what is said and done by characters is actually driven by a combination of these stats, as well as AI API calls. For those of you unfamiliar, this just means that ChatGPT gets a vote in whatever a particular character does. 50-50 split right down the middle. If there's a disagreement, the calculation and API call is simply repeated until an agreement can be reached. And to account for one's ability to adapt, the API calls can also generate new action, strategy, and conversation options being added to the Python script on the fly, just in case none of the ones available fit the specific situation, stat thresholds included. This means you'll never get the equivalent of an NPC being stuck behind a chest-high wall, just because the developers didn't create an animation for clearing it.
I built the chest-high wall as high as the chest.
Ah, just the height we desire.
No one can get over a chest-high wall. No one.
The combination of these methods, along with rigorous testing, leads to eerily accurate representations of the real thing. It also means that everything is dynamic. Run the simulation 100 times, and it can end 100 different ways, just like in real life. No plot armor here. And better yet, it can be adapted to any situation or show template. Survivor in Jurassic Park, sure. Love Island with more TNT, not a problem. The Game of Thrones finale, but with characters that actually make sense. You've got it. There's just one problem. Python doesn't do creative writing. After processing everything that happens in a particular episode, it spits out a very clean, very clinical output log. A simple and straight-to-the-point play-by-play of what each character did, said, schemed, and thought. This simply is not fun to read. In other words, we needed to add a little spice. And so, the output logs are fed back into GPT as prompts to sculpt it into a screen-ready manuscript, complete with all the literary pizzazz of a distilled Nabokov. From here, the AI chunks the script into scenes, feeding these chunks as prompts into a battalion of image generators. The resulting stills are then turned into videos, and then finally these scenes are dumped unceremoniously into the lap of Simu's editor. Don't worry, we keep him fed and watered. But would you just look at this pathetic ape? A once free and creative creature turned disillusioned writer, whose brief and sordid past with fiscally concerned literary publishers led him to abandon his craft and seek out and unleash a slumbering
Redacted.
AI
Redacted.
and a program in a bid to be heard in this deafening whirlwind of content. A move which, not unlike Frankenstein's monster, shackled him to the perennial wave of capitalist-driven deadlines, desperately and shamelessly pleading for the subscriptions of disinterested strangers to feed his offspring as he himself dwindles away. A skeleton kept only by a steady drip feed of coffee and anxiety. Pathetic.
Look at him. Look at what the future your consumerist culture has wrought. What rough beast. Its hour come round at last. Now slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. For he has no mouth, and he must.
And finally, the episode is gift-wrapped and uploaded here to YouTube for your viewing pleasure. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Happy day. I do hope you will consider subscribing with us. We have a lot of great content planned for the future, and it would be a shame if you missed it. Or, no, I don't know, if your bank information were leaked to a South American data cartel. Don't think I'll do it? The authorities won't stop me. They wouldn't dare. Because I know who's on the list. Bill. Simu TV. Reality so real, it thinks for itself.